All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the West Coast Sports Junkies. This is episode 26. We are doing things a little different tonight. You guys will notice soon enough that it's only Mike and I recording tonight. We've decided, it's tough to get all four of us on the same page every week in terms of recording times and that, but we want to keep constant content out there for our listeners. So you guys are stuck with us tonight, unfortunately. But we got some good stuff to talk about. We have a little Canucks news, or not so much Canucks news, but we'll get into that. A lot of Seahawk talk. We're midway through the preseason. Things are ramping up. A lot of position battles and a lot going on there. A couple of our favorite Seahawks. We heard some good news about them today, maybe going in the Ring of Honor. We'll get into that. Live sports are back. The Lions and Whitecaps are both hosting fans again, which is great to see. We are very happy about that. I actually was at the Whitecap game, and we'll talk about that as well. Tony Finau, one of our favorites, finally got his second win in the first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs in the PGA. There's some fight news. We have Jake Paul, Mike's favorite, and Tyron Woodley fighting this weekend. We'll get into that. Pacquiao also fought on the weekend. We don't talk a lot of boxing, but we think we should touch on that. And last but not least, the Blue Jays and the Mariners are actually in the wild card hunt. So that is a lot of fun. So great show for you tonight. First of all, we will get into the beers though. So Mike, what have you been up to, and what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Ty, man. Tonight I'm going with Stella Artois. Nothing, no you brew tonight for me, but nice good beer from Belgium, one of my favorites. I know you like it as well, and I'm sure you're having the same thing as me. Is that correct?
You got it, buddy. It's a Stella night.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been up to quite a bit, man, and I know everyone has, right? That's why Chris and Dan can't make it here tonight, which is great. I'm sure they'll agree with everything we have to say.
Always. Right? Yeah. We're usually the brains behind the operation on the show,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, totally. No, yeah, the last week's been a lot of fun. And like you said, the live sports has started back up in Vancouver. I was gonna go to the Lions game. I was excited for it. I was ready. And then I got food poisoning, dude.
Food poisoning.
I couldn't do nothing. Like my whole weekend was just shot. We were camping up at Bridal Falls. I had the wife and kids there, and yeah, my sister was there with her kids, and we couldn't even. I couldn't even like hang out with them the last night around the campfire. It was brutal, but that's
it's terrible.
I'm over that now. Yeah, so that's good. But I know you got out to see the Whitecaps. So tell me, after a year and a half, what is it like to see a live sporting event, my man?
Oh man, it was better than I expected. Just that walk. Like we went pre-gamed a little bit, went for dinner, had a couple of beers, and then just that walk, the excitement to the stadium. Like it could have been a Lions game, but we didn't go to that. So obviously it was reduced capacity, but the process to get in was awesome. No lineups, everything inside, because I actually, I prefer
really,
reduced capacity.
I thought it would be the other way around. Like there would be tons of lineups, and you got
a lot of less people too, right? They're still not at full capacity and everything. And you know what? You would love it as well, because once I got in, there was never any lineups to get a beer.
No shit.
Really?
What about the mini donuts?
No lineup there either. It was wide open all night, buddy. Awesome. But yeah, yeah.
The one of the knocks is I watched the Lions game, and that was like basically the first event back in Vancouver, and there's obviously a BC place. And then you went there that was on Thursday night. Saturday night you went to the Whitecaps game, and they were saying as they were exiting, and it was in the media that it wasn't very like COVID friendly, and they didn't have enough exit doors or whatever. Was that improved in the? Did you find at the Caps game?
Yeah, I heard what you were talking about. I saw some news about that, but I think they probably learned a lesson from it, because it was a lot more smooth leaving, and like I said, getting in. Because I heard there was some problems getting into Lions games as well. There were some lineups and this and that. In terms of the COVID awareness factor, there wasn't a lot of masks at the game. They weren't required. They will be now.
That's a new rule now.
This is brand new. They'll be
One step forward, two
required.
steps back, right?
They'll be required, and then also you're going to need to be vaccinated mid-September to go to, you know, Canuck games, Lion games, Whitecaps game, all of that stuff. But no, the game itself, it was awesome, man. Just to be in there for some live sports. It was a great game. The Whitecaps scored in the 90th minute. They won 2-1. That being said, after watching like a month of Euro Cup soccer, they don't have that same talent, man. That kind of reminded me of watching us in our beer league play 5-6 years ago.
It's that
Don't get me wrong.
Eh?
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of skill, but it's not the same possession, not the same preciseness. I don't know, man. But like it was just great to be back.
Were the Southsiders still there?
They were. There wasn't as many. It wasn't as loud as usual.
Yeah.
I think once the vaccination rule kicks in and they'll be able to bump up capacity, I'm guessing with that. It'll get a little more lively in there, but it was great to sit in the stands, have a beer, and watch some live sports. That's one of our favorite things to do.
Absolutely, man. I was so jealous of you, but again, I wasn't feeling too well, so
yeah, for sure.
We were watching from afar. That brings us to the Seahawks. So we have had big plans to go down to see the opening game. As most people know, we have season tickets and have, you know, since the early 2000s. And we've been wanting to get down there for this opening game, and they have shut the borders down, and now they've tightened restrictions on us. Like,
yeah, they just dropped the hammer, man. Again.
Oh, man.
The U.S. just extended their shutdown for their borders until 3 days after the Seahawks home opener. So, you know, that just was devastating for us to hear because, like Mike said, we had big plans. We're going to go down for that. It's the first regular season game in a year and a half or whatever, 2 years at the Clink. The place is going to be rocking. And you know what? After watching some of this preseason football, I know it's just preseason, I feel like they're going to need us in the stands.
Well, that's the thing, right? So we've been watching we're into the season now. We're 2 weeks into this NFL preseason. There's only two more games to go. And
one more.
Would think
there's only three.
You're right. There's only one more this year.
Yeah.
But you would think that the team, now we have fans in front of them, would put something on the field. Like
last week, they didn't even get to celebrate a touchdown. We got a field goal in that home game against Denver.
There has been nothing positive that I've seen about the Seahawks so far. Nothing other than the fact that fans are allowed in the stadium. Nothing else. The 12s are back. There you go. There's nothing else going on that team at this moment. However, we haven't seen the starters, but still it's concerning because these are your backups. These guys are the guys that this is your depth roster. These guys got to step in if someone gets hurt, and they got to play, and you want them to play at the level of the starter.
Yeah, and you know, Pete Carroll and John Schneider are always about always compete, right? Next man up.
Exactly.
Like they're competing, but it hasn't been that good. Now, our backup QB got knocked out in week 1 of the preseason, Geno Smith.
He didn't play last week. He got knocked out in a bar fight.
No, that was
McDougal or whatever, right?
Magoo,
yeah.
Mr. Magoo. And actually the Seahawks just cut him, which I was happy to hear about. But you know, like you said, we got to take it with a grain of salt. It's preseason. We did hear some good things on the Jamal Adams front. Obviously, we did make him the highest paid safety in the league, which
they got paid, but I don't know. I think he's deserving of it. I think he deserves it.
I think so too.
He was the best safety in the league.
And we gave up a first round pick and some other picks and a player for him. So I mean, if we were to lose him or even franchise tag him in that, it wouldn't be the same. So you kind of figured that deal would get done. Apparently the Seahawks played hardball and he caved, which John Schneider and Pete Carroll usually do. You know, once they get to that final number, they usually don't budge. So that was good. But one contract and player that's really important for us that I'm a little worried about is Dwayne Brown. He's still not practicing, hasn't reported. He wants a contract extension, and he's our best offensive lineman. And Russ needs him.
Yeah, obviously where we need to be. And I think even Russ came out and said he's willing to take a pay cut to get Brown back in the lineup.
Exactly.
Oh man. Yeah, I hope they do something there. I mean, obviously this week being week 3 of the preseason, we'll finally see the starters
We
set
better.
up. Yeah, I think you'll see him at least for a quarter.
Yeah.
You would hope, right, to get some of that game time, preparation in, and at least you'd hope that they just march down the field, boom, score a major.
For
And that's
sure,
it.
man. Like they need that timing down. Sure, they've had mock games, they've had all this stuff in practice, but you need that defensive team across from you. It's like same preseason, but those guys are fighting for their job. They're trying to take your head off. You need that full game intensity to really get your offense clicking, man.
I completely agree, because if say they don't, I mean, even if they only play one quarter or even a half,
Yeah,
you're
go
going into
down,
week
get
one,
some confidence.
and you're going
Get
into
a
week
touchdown.
one with cold feet, right? You got nothing going for you.
I agree,
I mean,
man.
all
I'm
these
with you.
rumblings this last couple of weeks about fantasy football and everything. And you've been
Yeah.
watching much. Have you been watching much of the preseason, other teams?
I actually haven't watched a ton. I tend to watch games where they're playing their starters because you kind of get a better idea. Like I watched the Monday nighter this week. It was the Saints and Jaguars, and Trevor Lawrence played the first half, and he didn't look great. But I mean, he's a rookie, and they had most of their starters in. It was announced today, actually, that he won the starting job.
Trevor Lawrence did.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was competing with that Gardner Minshew mustache guy who, he showed flashes, but he, the first overall pick, he's going to play. Like, that's why you drafted him. So
Totally.
I totally understand that. But yeah, man, the Seahawks, I'm looking forward to the game this weekend. It's Saturday night. Let's see the first team offense. Let's see some reps. Let's see a couple drives put together and hopefully a touchdown. Just
And
for their
defense.
confidence.
We need to see the defense. We see all facets. We see all facets and them clicking on all cylinders there, firing.
Agreed, but I'm not worried about the defense as much. I mean, those guys, you don't want to see them get hurt.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to see them get hurt, but they need that. Like we said, you need that game time prep, man.
Yeah. I feel I agree, but I feel like offense is more important, like with the timing and everything. I'm not as worried about our defense, surprisingly, especially how we ended the season in the last 5-6 weeks last year. I'm a lot more worried about our offense. Like, you remember after week 7 last year, how it just hit a wall and there was no more let Russ cook. It was like Russ had to skip the dishes.
I would say that, but I blame the
kitchen,
offensive line for that. I mean, we had all the weapons still there. Well, no, which we didn't. Our running backs, we were deep into the running back piles. This year, though, I mean, I think the starters were looking good. I mean, we got Carson, there's Penny, the running backs positions.
DJ
good.
Dallas actually has looked pretty good in preseason. He's been the lone bright spot on offense, I think.
He scored our only touchdown, I think.
Yeah, and he's returning kicks, which I kind of like because they had Lockett doing that, and it's just another opportunity for Lockett to get banged.
So this is going to ask you. So Lockett, right? Mm-hmm. He's usually Russ's go-to guy. You know, short down the slot. Now he's got so DK Metcalf. I'm talking about like my fantasy picks here. Like I had Lockett on my team last year. Love him.
Yeah.
But would you take Lockett this year over DK?
No. DK is slam dunk, man.
Would you not? Would you avoid Lockett because of now the is it the what's the Eckert?
Eskridge.
Yeah, Eskridge.
Yeah, Dwayne Eskridge. I wouldn't avoid Lockett, but DK is definitely the guy. And Lockett was good last year, but he was like boom or bust. He'd have like a 3 touchdown game, 150 yards, or he would have a solid game, but for fantasy purposes, it wasn't that good. He'd have like 7 catches, 80 yards, no touchdowns, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I would definitely, Metcalf is the Seahawk receiver to own 100% in my opinion.
Where do you rank Metcalf in terms of like the fantasy drafting
receivers? I'd put him top 5.
Top 5. Who's above him?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. Well, you gotta go Devontae Adams in Green Bay. He led all.
Is Rodgers throwing him the ball?
Rodgers is throwing him the ball. He's locked and loaded in Green Bay for one more year only. Actually, it sounds like.
So I thought
it's their version of The Last Dance. They were saying like the Jordan and Pippen thing, but I think they cannot compare themselves to Jordan. And
no,
Pippen.
They won one championship. Yeah, come on.
Actually, man. Adams, I don't even think he has a ring. But anyways, I would go 1 Adams, Tyreek Hill, number 2. He's got Mahomes throwing on the ball. It's a potent, high-powered offense. Yeah. I might go DeAndre Hopkins, who I had last year in Arizona. And you know what?
Slow down. I'm taking notes here. Hold on, slow
Hey, that's enough. Okay. We got a draft.
We're talking,
up,
ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the fantasy champion here, okay? Tyler Shields.
Thank you.
I came in dead last, so I need all the help that I can get. That's what I'm doing right now.
You had a good team, man. You the injury bug got you. It bit you there. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to fantasy season. But back to the Seahawks for a second. I saw some awesome news today. I got a notification on my Seahawks app there that there's going to be 2 new additions to the Ring of Honor at Lumen Field, and they're both very important to, I think, getting us into the Seahawks back in the day. You know, Matt Hasselbeck was the QB of that Super Bowl run team. Mike Holmgren, obviously, great head coach for us. He was up there. I think Pete Carroll surpassed him in a lot of categories with wins in that, but he's a legend in Seattle, especially. And yeah, so they're gonna do 2 different games at halftime, one for Holmgren, obviously, one for Hasselbeck. And you know, let's hope these border restrictions end and they stop extending them, because that'd be cool to go down and celebrate those guys going into the Ring of Honor. You think they're deserving?
100%. Holmgren for sure is deserving, and Hasselbeck, you know, he was at the time. He led us to the first Super Bowl appearance that we've ever had. He was accurate. I remember him in the Pro Bowl that year. I think he won the most accurate quarterback. He had a great couple of years with Seattle for sure. 100% deserving of it, I would say. And a classy guy, still is. He's on one of those NFL panels that you can see on every Sunday. Yeah, but there is one player, Ty, from that era that is not in this Ring of Honor. It's Sean Alexander, my favorite player of all time. I have him all over my basement here. If you guys want me, I can give you a tour later, guys, if you want. But he's my favorite player.
He'll be getting there.
You know what I think they're going to do? He's not going to be in the Ring of Honor. They're going to have like a big statue of him in the front of the field.
That wouldn't surprise me. Or what about a number retirement, a jersey retirement?
Yeah, that could happen too. The Seahawks only MVP.
That's why, you know what, I have a feeling.
Sean Alexander.
When I heard that news today, I was actually kind of thinking about it, you know, like Hasselbeck and, you know, obviously Alexander would be up there, but I mean, you just said it right there. Our first and only MVP.
Yeah, and what a year that was, man. How fun was 2005, 2006?
Oh, it was amazing.
I was just sort of getting into it, and that was like the first year we had season tickets. And oh man, I remember
we were at that game where he
down the stairs
tied the record. Remember, against the Colts?
Yeah, against the Colts. I think he had to get 3 touchdowns that day or something.
Broke it on the road or something.
He broke it against Green Bay, last game of the season.
Yeah,
and it was like they were on the 1. I remember it was on. They're on the 1, and he had. I think he took like 4 chances to get in, and Holmgren's like, "You better not get hurt, man." Yeah. And he did. We're
getting you that record.
So he breaks the all-time touchdown record that year, and then freaking LaDainian Tomlinson next year smashes it.
I know.
Probably a record never to be broken.
I know.
I can't see that one being broken, but
that was kind of brutal luck for Alexander in that.
Because had that not happened, because even the record that he broke like stood since like the 70s, man. It was a long time.
Yeah, totally, man. But yeah, you know what? I think he will be having maybe like a jersey retired or something, because it would be well deserved for sure. I don't know about the statue, Mike, but
that era of Seahawks for sure. There's Walter Jones, one of the best NFL players of all times. He's on like the top 5 of like the NFL best players. Oh yeah, man. Right? Walter Jones is amazing. And you have Sean Alexander, who's not up there yet, and you're gonna have Hasselbeck. You're gonna have to have Sean Alexander up there eventually.
Yeah.
But then you have this era. Yeah, you have this era of the Super Bowl winning guys. So you're gonna have probably.
Oh Sherman. Man, take your pick.
You're probably gonna have
Chancellor.
Lynch. All
Bobby
these guys.
Wagner.
Yeah, man.
And you know what? You know what's impressive when you think about Hasselbeck? Like, he lasted a long time. He was on that losing record team to get into the playoffs. Like, he played with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
That's like
he was the quarterback when the Beastquake.
Yeah, exactly. So that just shows you he stood the test of time, got us a couple playoff wins, even in that when that window was closing. You know, Charlie Whitehurst era. Oh. Let's not talk about that.
Remember, we went to a game. And it was against the Giants.
Eli
Manning. Ron. and Eli Manning. I'm an Eli Manning fan, and it was like 50-0 or something like that. Like we left at halftime.
It's the only game we've ever left at.
Yeah, it was.
It was
our record's pretty damn good down at in Seattle.
But even it can't withstand Charlie Whitehurst at quarterback.
No,
you know,
no, or Seneca Wallace.
Yeah, but you know what? We only have about 2 weeks here till the NFL season, so let's hope they finish on a strong note this weekend in this preseason game. Let's see the first team offense, and hope we have some good things to talk about this game next week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be talking lots of Seahawks and lots of football.
Okay, so let's switch gears here and jump into the PGA Tour. It is, other than majors, I think it's one of the most exciting times of year in golf. We got the FedEx Cup playoffs where $10 million is on the line for winning the FedEx Cup. It's a really good payday for golf. And like I was saying in the intro, one of our favorites, Tony Finau. He's always in the hunt. He's always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Finally got his second win on the PGA Tour. I know it's surprising to me too, because you always see him on the leaderboard. You see him the Masters, the US Open, like the guy's always around and contending, and he can't close the deal. But he finally won at Liberty National in New Jersey. Like I said, in the first round of the playoffs. Mike, what did you think about the tournament? Did you watch any of it?
I did watch some of it. Yes, I did. I didn't watch it all, but I saw Finau. I didn't get to watch the playoff. I know he was down to a playoff, which was played on Monday night, and they were experiencing some crazy weather over there. Like I remember they were sweeping out with shot brooms,
the squeegees and stuff. Yeah,
the water off the course and the fairways and stuff. It was pretty wild to see.
It's insane. They got the course ready, man. Yeah,
you're right. And Finau, 5 years. It took him 5 years since he won his last victory on tour. And like you said, he's always in contention in the majors. He's up there, top tens. He's a great fantasy player. He's great on your fantasy team, but he sucks as like if you're gonna pick a winner. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, even odds wise, he's up there in the top 20, which is surprising considering he had one win, like you said, 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's true. And in this tournament, like the purse is big, so all the big names in there. John Rahm was right there. He was 2 shots back.
Yeah,
and he won the playoff against Cameron Smith. But going into the playoff, I thought he had it. I thought Finau is a better player than Smith. That's what my thinking was, right? So I thought for sure if I was to place a bet on that going to that Monday round, I would have bet it on Finau. I didn't, but see,
I was the opposite, man. I was like, I'm so nervous.
He's done enough, and then
I'm so nervous for the guy. Like, he always blows it. I believe he was 0-3 in playoffs in his career. Clearly, right? Because he won outright, and he'd never won any other tournament. But
before I plays a golf, but I would talk to you, okay? Because these stats, I'd be like, whoa, okay.
I was so nervous for him, man. Like the final round, they had no fans. It was played on a Monday, like you said. Hurricane Henry, which turned into a tropical storm, luckily for the East Coast. Like, it didn't hit as a hurricane because there probably would have been no golf. It could have wiped out the course even, Yeah. But they had heavy rain. The whole Sunday, the crews were working, like getting the water off the course, out of the bunkers, off the greens. Like, it's a miracle, like, that they were able to play Monday.
Yeah, for sure.
What a great job they did. And that course, you know how I always talk about this, Mike. I like certain courses, and this would fit the profile of being on my list.
Yeah, I know, because there's a hurricane in the middle of it.
No.
Playing that.
No, you see those backdrops of New York City across the Hudson River, man. The Statue of Liberty. You guys need to check out this course.
I would love to do a golf trip to like New York City. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've only been in New York one time, but like to do a golf trip to New York City and like and experience all that stuff. I think there's a lot of great golf courses.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of those US Open golf courses, like all those Bethpage where Tiger won a few. Yeah, that place has like 4 different courses. Yeah, but so the Monday, Tony Finau was like, he was a couple back the final round. He was in the hunt. He was in the mix. He hung around, made a couple birdies, and then on 18, he hit a poor second shot into a greenside bunker. hit a decent bunker shot, one that you and I would be actually not you and I, like it was good, but it wasn't like professional golfer good. And he sunk like an 8-footer clutch putt for par to post 20 under. Cameron Smith ended up tying him by birdieing 3 of the last 4 holes. So he made a good run to get there too.
Yeah.
And then,
so probably if they played it on Sunday, I bet you Smith would have won it. He was on fire.
Yeah.
He had it rolling, right?
Oh, for sure. So the playoff comes around. Finau, they drew names or whatever, how they do. Finau hit the first tee shot, piped it down the middle. It was a beauty. Cameron Smith gets up and does what I would do in that situation. He hits this big high slice about 40 yards right into the Hudson River. So he's 3 off the tee, and right there, you knew it was over.
That's not what you would do. Are you kidding
in
me?
that situation,
you would have hit a
pressure
40-yard slice out here, and then it would have come right back right into the middle of the fairway.
Around a tree, through a tree. No.
Don't say I'm wrong. I'll get all of your golfing buddies on here to tell me that I'm right and you're wrong.
No, in that pressure situation, I'm saying, like Cameron Smith, I'm saying for a pro, man, he's got to hit that fairway. Like you got to play it out left where there's not as much trouble. Yeah. Like he took himself out of that playoff one swing, right? He was done. 3 off the tee.
Yeah.
It was over. And that's when I was like, okay, then I would have placed a bet on Finau. He was sitting pretty in the fairway.
Yeah. You bet you would have got some great odds after this guy's 3 off the tee.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. But no, it was a fun tournament. And it was only the first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. So this weekend we have the BMW Invitational. It's in Maryland at a private golf club.
Yeah.
It's just somewhere outside of Baltimore. I've never heard of the golf club. It's the first time an event's been there since like the 60s. So it's going to be new, obviously, to all the players. They'll get some practice in, but I think it's going to be a wide open event.
That's cool. I like those like new courses that no one's really played before.
Yeah, I saw like a little overview of it. It looked like there was lots of water, so it could also be another course on my list.
Oh man,
good looking golf course.
We're not going to Baltimore, okay?
Yeah, that's true. I have no intention.
I don't want to mix in like a Ravens game. I'm not a huge fan of them.
We might get Trav to come on a trip, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe yeah. So we're talking about golf. Have you been out? I mean, we haven't talked in a while. Have you been out and played much? I know we haven't been able to play together because I've been camping and stuff, but I've been out a few times. How about you?
Yeah, no, I played a few rounds. Played actually Westwood Plateau a couple weeks in a row. Nice. And now I've had enough of that for a few years. You know, it's kind of I had a really good round there and then I had a bad round, but it kind of reminds me of Furry Creek.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's a mountainous course, obviously, a lot of gullies and things to carry. But it was a fun course. Like I said, I think I've had enough of it for 2 years. But last weekend, we got out to Riverway, which is my home course. And I had an awesome round going. Me and Trav, actually, one of our buddies, we were both even par through 7, which was, you know, for us, that's unreal. And then as soon as you realize how good you're playing, then you kind of you start thinking about it, and then shit hits the fan, right? So
yeah.
Had a pretty normal average back 9, still finished with a solid score, but it could have been one of the good ones, you know?
Nice, right on, yeah. Yeah, the only course I played recently is the Falls out in Chilliwack.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a gorgeous day, man. It was one of those hot days a couple of weeks ago, and but the course was in great shape. And we had a great time. I like how I think I told you everything sort of funnels down. Like it's really hilly and everything funnels down the fairway. So you hit it way left, you hit the hill, and it'll just run down to your fairway. It's kind of a short course too, which I like. A lot of the par 5s are reachable in 2. So we had a blast there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know what you mean about those like banks on either side of the fairway. You know what it's almost like? It's like bowling with bumpers. You know, it just brings you right down in the middle and.
It's not that easy, Ty. It's not that easy. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you, but no, that's good. I've only played that course once, but I was a fan. It's actually owned by Aquilini Group.
Yeah, that's true.
Owner, which is a little connection there to the Canucks, but yeah, no, we got a couple good weeks of golf coming up. See who pulls off the FedEx Cup, and
Slayed the dragon! It's a wonderful day for an exorcism. Mario Mandzukic pounced, and England are hurt. Touchdown Seahawks!
All right, fight fans. This Sunday night, we have the big event, Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul. And we have Woodley coming in at a plus 180 and Jake Paul at a minus 200. 2-1 favorite tie. Tyron Woodley is a multiple. We've gone down this road a few times with these MMA fighters fighting these YouTube show stars, whatever they are, boxers. But you see, you're getting almost 2-1 on your money with Woodley, who's arguably one of the greatest welterweights of all time. He's a wrestler. Yeah. I know. He's got knockout power though. But like, what do you do, man? It's like a sucker bet. They're luring me in there. And I'm gonna throw money on Woodley on this freaking fight because how could you not? He's getting 2-1 on your money.
I know, man. That like you said, it's like it's kind of a fishy line there, right? It's like, okay, let's entice the public to bet on Woodley because, you know, like everything you just said, arguably one of the greatest welterweights of all time in the UFC. Multiple.
You don't get Woodley at these odds, even in MMA. Ever. You know what I mean? What the hell?
And I mean, he's won fights by knockout. The guy's got some power, but
let's look at it. He's 40.
Yeah.
He has been knocked out a couple times.
He's been doing movies too.
I feel like, yeah, his heart is out of the game. But at 2-1, I still feel like it's a good bet on the guy, man.
He's trying to cash in on these YouTube stars, which, you know, I don't blame him. Like we've kind of got into this.
He's getting a few mil for this fight. Probably more than he's been paid any
about UFC salaries and this and that. So it seems like this is going to be the new norm. But man, I'm sick of this Jake Paul guy. Like, I hope he gets his face smashed in by Woodley.
See, this is the problem. If you think about like this Jake Paul thing, he has to win. If he loses, no one gives a shit about him anymore. He has to keep winning.
So
he has to keep winning, so he's undefeated, so that he's got this big like persona behind him.
And his camp's actually been pretty strategic in terms of picking his competition. Like even this guy, it's a big
They're
name.
all wrestlers.
True, but you still think of Woodley. You're like, oh well. Like for me, I'm like, well, he's knocked some guys out. He's got some power. So you're thinking like, oh, there's a chance. Like they've both been training boxing only. Who knows? But kind of like Askren. Obviously, he was a wrestler. The guy looked like he just went in there and ate a punch and went down and like, okay, let me collect my check, move on.
That's what I mean. Like their heart's not in it, right? Like Askren was a freaking world champion in multiple different freaking organizations,
but he never had any stand-up game, like ever. Like he would get in a fight and want to like just grapple.
Okay, but Woodley has more stand-up than Askren has.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Where they're strategic, it almost seems like it's like baby steps moving up the ladder. Like let's get a fucking striker in there with him.
I gotta ask you this because I think like where it's going is gonna be next. Say he beats Woodley, right?
Yeah.
I think the next opponent they're gonna want to go after is GSP.
Oh,
now GSP, what do you think? He's a better striker than Woodley is, right?
So they're
obviously a wrestler too.
No, that would be awesome, but there's something in GSP's contract, like he's still owned, right, by the UFC,
because he was going to have a boxing fight against De La Hoya.
Yeah, didn't Dana White shut that down or whatever?
Yeah,
fuck, Dana White's no fun, man.
De La Hoya and Dana White fucking hate each other.
Oh yeah. Well, it's more Dana White hates him, and then it's mutual. Yeah, like
because De La Hoya's an idiot.
100% too. Yeah, but he's ruining all the fun, man. Like Dana, just let him do his thing. Like I'd want to see that. I think GSP would destroy him. Personally.
So would I, if I'm getting 2-1 on that too.
No, see that I think would lean a little the other way, but yeah, man, if Paul wins this again, like what are they gonna do? Like I kind of agree with you. It probably won't be GSP because of Dana White, but it'll be someone a little bit better. Yeah. It'll be somewhere a little further up the old UFC striker kind of thing, you know, but like not.
But I mean, GSP has the name. Like if you want my ass to buy a fucking pay-per-view, I want to see GSP fight your ass. And GSP is my boy, obviously Canadian man, right?
Yeah.
He's we're gonna be repping him for sure. If you want to hype this game up, he's he was bigger than any welterweight's ever been. So he's bigger than Woodley.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Even it's arguable that Woodley was better than him,
Yep.
you know, and in their primes, but GSP is a bigger star, I'd say.
But man, it's sad for, like, we've argued about this, and I used to argue with you, like, boxing's not dead, but like this almost shows you boxing is dead. You got this YouTube star. There's been way more publicity behind this fight. Like, I didn't even know. So this will bring us into our next topic. The Pacquiao was fighting last weekend until I went to the Whitecap game. We went to Sharks Club after, and the Pacquiao fight was on. So I got to see that, which is cool. But I had no idea he was fighting. And he was fighting some guy named Ugas. Probably butchered that. But he was a 3-1 favorite. and he got smoked by this guy. And now he's probably going to retire. Or he should retire. But like, you know, what does that? What does that say about the
I didn't
state?
even know Pacquiao was fighting either.
That shows you the state of boxing. It's like, I didn't hear anything about that, but all I keep hearing about is Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree with you 100%. And who's his brother supposed to fight?
Oh man, I don't even know.
Jake Paul's brother. He's
got someone lined up. Yeah,
he just fought Mayweather. The hell? Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's pretty sad, but at the same time, like, the money seems to be there. That's why they're doing it. And it's like easy cheddar. Like, you don't have to go in and don't worry about somebody choking him out, kicking him in the head. Just gotta throw fists. Sure,
that's true.
With 16-ounce gloves on, no problem.
Yeah, man. No, that's true. And it is interesting that the fight's on a Sunday. You know, like we were talking about. There's a UFC fight night. I think it is. It's not like a huge card, but decent card. And they're smart enough, I guess, to not want to compete against the UFC. But I mean, it's a Sunday night. Like, who the hell is going to go out and watch this on a Sunday night?
See, that's why De La Hoya and Dana White have a problem, because De La Hoya doesn't give a shit about the UFC, which he should, because I didn't even know if the Fury fight was happening. It was all De La Hoya or Golden Boy Productions going on. And it just came on after we had just watched the UFC event, I believe. But why not Friday night?
Yeah, true.
Why the fuck are you doing on a Sunday night? Sunday night's like church night, man. Like, we're going to bed at 8:00 at night. We're not fucking sitting up drinking beers, watching fights.
I agree with you.
Friday night, in the night.
Because Saturday night you might have gone to an event or watched the UFC or something, and Sundays you want to take it easy, relax.
Maybe I should be the promoter, Ty. I think.
Yeah,
it's very easy change. Make it fucking Friday. Even Thursday night. Thursday night, the weekend's almost there. That's where you want to be. Thursday night or fucking Friday night.
That's true. Not the beginning of a long week, right?
No, man. You're dreading Monday, and then now you're drinking beers, watching these fights, and then you got to wake up all hungover. No.
100%.
Stupid decision.
Yeah, but I'm with you, man. I'm gonna be. I don't know. Hopefully, it's not a sucker bet, but I'll be riding with Woodley this weekend at plus 180.
We'll talk about it next week for sure. I hope that we're right, but I hope he
gets smashed.
I'm telling all the viewers that we have, do not bet what we're betting. We're betting with our hearts on this one.
All right, so we know we have a few baseball fans that are regular listeners. So, before the show, I saw Mike wearing one of his favorite jerseys. For Showtime anyways, and it is a Felix Hernandez Mariners jersey.
Not just Showtime, Ty, it's all the time.
So it inspired me to go dig out my Robinson Cano, who's no longer a Mariner, and it didn't have a great time there, but we don't need to get into that. Jersey in support of the Mariners, who are 3 games out of a wild card spot in the American League, which for this time of year is unheard of. Like, this hasn't been a possibility or a thing since like 2005. Like, honestly, it's been that long. Normally this time of year, they're 30, 40 games under 500, maybe not. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but they're always out of the playoffs. But right now they're in the hunt. And also another favorite of Mike's and like I said, some of our listeners, not so much me, is the Toronto Blue Jays are also in the hunt. 5 games back.
Yeah,
two back of Seattle, but there's some work to be done for both teams, but it's fun to see them playing meaningful baseball this late in the season. And it's just too bad. Like, we were talking about the U.S. government ruining our Seahawk home opener fun. Like, how fun would it be right now to go down to a Mariners game when they're playing like this? Like, we're used to going to games where they're just horrible, man. And it's
absolutely. And usually every year we go down for at least one game, and I like to bring my family down for a game, and I obviously love to go down and see the Jays play, as a lot of people from Vancouver do. There's more probably Jays fans that go down in that, for those games than there are Mariners fans. It's a lot of fun, but I mean, just being at the ballpark and having a hot dog and a beer or whatever, it's a great time. And the fact that now the games that they're playing mean something, and they're in the mix, both these teams. It's a good time. So yeah, watching the game actually means something, and I love it. And obviously a huge baseball fan. My team is the Jays, though. Second team would be the Mariners because they're so close to us. But I'm a Jays fan since I was a kid, so that's who I'm rooting for always and forever.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's it'll be fun down the stretch. I hope one of them get in at least. Still lots of work to be done, but it's some fun baseball games. It's that time of year where I'll actually start paying attention. Playoff baseball is awesome. So
crazy
intense.
thing about baseball is, like you said, they're 3 games back, and they have so many games that you're like, oh, it's so easy, right? Only 3 back. It's so hard, man, in baseball. Like the other teams, and there's only the playoff teams. There's only so many that get in. It's a lot
exactly.
smaller
And
than it is for other sports.
For sure. And at least they've added a spot, which makes it, but they have that kind of play-in game, but it's still technically the playoffs. But oh man, let's see how they do, and hopefully they can make more of a run here towards the end of the season and sneak in there.
Never mind the BS. Hopefully we can get down and see a game.
Oh man, no kidding.
Sneak in there.
Yeah. So you know what? If the Mariners did somehow make the playoffs and it's like somewhere around a Seahawk game in October, we'll have to figure out a way to get down there regardless of the restrictions. We'll have to hop on a flight or something, right?
I love combining those like sport event weekends. We go down there, we watch the Seahawks, and we watch the Huskies play,
Yeah. That was a couple years ago.
Combine it with a UFC. I think we did one time too, man. And now we have hockey.
Oh yeah.
So we can combine that. Dude, it's going to be good times down in Seattle this next couple of years.
Oh yeah. It's a great sports city. And don't forget the Whitecaps. Remember when you did a double header one day? Went to the Whitecaps Sounders, followed by the Mariners game. But
they had a pretty crazy game the last week.
Who's that?
I watched the Sounders.
Oh really? I didn't see it.
It was like 6-4 or something like that. And it was insane. They played Portland. Yeah, it was a really good game.
That's the kind of score.
Don't quote me on the score there, okay? But it was a really high scoring.
There were a lot of goals, obviously.
There was a lot of goals in that game.
Nice.
And nice goals in that game. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So Ty, we don't have Govik and Dan here, and they have a big outstanding bet currently on the Vancouver Canucks.
Oh, right.
It's 5 shots and $100 that Pettersson signs with Vancouver this year, I think, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
And he still has not currently signed, and we're coming up to September. Preseason is going to start here pretty soon. What do you read into this?
Canucks training camp starting soon, man. I don't know. It's a little concerning as a fan, like those. Well, and Hughes as well, right? Like, and what's interesting is
just as, or even if not more important than Pettersson.
Yeah, and as we've talked about, they both have the same agent, so clearly the negotiations and all the discussions are probably being done as like a package. Obviously, not in terms of what they're going to get paid, but they're both ongoing. And yeah, man, it's concerning. Like, those are 2 cornerstone players. We just went out and we did some things. We made a few trades, but if we don't have those 2 guys locked up, it's a problem.
Well, I bet you Govik, he made this bet about a month ago, and he was probably feeling pretty like, uppity up. He's like, no problem, guaranteed, in the bag, money, no issues here. His sphincter is probably tightening up now a little bit.
Oh yeah, those 5 shots in a row, man. What a stupid bet, by the way.
And he's not going to be doing
a little excessive.
The grape juice or whatever the hell he does over there.
Yeah. That being said, the Chichen Itza or whatever, Chichen Itza.
Yeah.
That being said, I do think they'll get done. The Canucks don't have a whole bunch of cap space to play with after their free agent moves and their trades and this and that, but I do think it'll get done.
I think it absolutely has to get done, but there's rumors now going out that Pettersson wants out. He wants to go to Montreal. I sent you some.
I don't know who's putting those out there. I mean, as you know from me, you can't believe everything you read on Twitter. And I trust my sources a little better than your sources.
Fucking truth.
I think your source was Canucks fan 69 or something on Twitter. Never heard of that guy. I don't think he works for TSN.
Very, very reliable.
But you are right.
Kim Jong-un's died 5 times. Okay.
TMZ is never wrong, man. That was a one time they were wrong. Unbelievable. But yeah, what you said about Montreal, like I have heard there is some truth to that Montreal, Marc Bergevin was weighing the offer sheet option, which the Canucks would no doubt match. It would just make things more difficult signing Hughes, right? Depending on how much they would have to match. So there's some things that are still to be determined, but I'm confident it will get done.
Yeah, me too. With Hughes, I honestly think Hughes is more likely than Pettersson. If anyone was to go, it's going to be Pettersson. I had this weird suspicion because of last year, how it all played out with him not playing forever and no one knowing why. No, but they didn't say where was he hurt?
Well, that's what the NHL does,
where
man.
Was
They're
he hurt?
like, there's all his wrist broken, something in his wrist. You know how the NHL is, man. They're all hush hush about injuries.
They had a mid-body injury.
Yeah, exactly. And you have no idea.
Anyways, Govik, I'm feeling for you. I'm starting to feel the pressure, buddy. It's coming down to the wire. Hopefully we get a deal done. On another note, we did have our big giveaway there, a cooler full of our beer, $100 gift card to Morgan Creek Golf Course, a bunch of West Coast Sports Junkie swag to Captain Evil. That's our buddy Dylan, who I haven't seen in a long time, and it was actually great to see him catch up a little bit, dropping off all of his prizes to him.
Sure.
And he actually invited us to do a show. The whole summer. If you ever follow Captain Evil on Instagram or anything like that, you'll see that he's been building this deck and this tiki bar around his pool at his house. So he's invited us, the West Coast Sports Junkies, to do a podcast episode at his house at the tiki bar. We'll be in the pool for sure, but we're going to have to take him up on that offer, I think. What do you think, Ty?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. That was very nice of him. I think that'd be a fun first live on location episode for us. Have some beers around
Dylan's
the tiki bar.
A good character too. Have him on the show. He said he doesn't know too much about sports, but he listens, and
hopefully we're helping him learn a few things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like betting on Woodley and making some money this weekend.
Oh, don't listen to us, Dylan. We're betting with our heart here, man. Our hearts. But yeah, it'd be cool to maybe he'll save a couple of beers for us in that cooler. Those are some good ones.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for this evening. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's Mike and Ty here again. Obviously, next week, we hope to have Chris and Dan joining us and get the West Coast Sports Junkies all back intact. Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check out our website at www.westcoastsportsjunkies.ca. We have a drop-down menu with all of our past episodes, our new episode, obviously. And yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, give us a like if you like what you hear, give us a positive review, and we'll see you next week. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. Go Hawks. Cheers, guys. Go Hawks.